feel nervous. I haven't spoken in front of people in a long time.
Yeah, me neither.
They need to put a screen here to make me feel comfortable. So let's get right into it. Maybe 30 seconds on Aircall, just so people know your background in the business.
Okay, so I'm Oli. I'm one of the co-founders, CEO of Aircall, and we've built a phone system that helps our customers have richer conversations, more productive conversations with their own customers.
Perfect. And I think you know what you need to from me. We're a VC firm active in North America, Europe, and I'm excited to speak with Oli today. So it is now the expectation that companies will meet their customers wherever they are. Now, you've been close to this. You've been a part of this, actually. How has 360 customer visibility and support evolved in the modern era?
So what happened, especially with COVID, but it was an underlying trend, that companies need to connect the dots. They engage with customers via multiple channels. You can, of course, have a phone call, but you can chat, and you can do a ticket, you can send an email, you can meet the customer in a store. How do you collect all that data? And so we saw lately the emergence of 360 customer relationship softwares, right? Think customer with a K, Dixa, Gorgias. And those guys, they bring everything together, right? And they connect typically tools like Aircall, like chatbots, so that when a customer engages with you, you make sure you have the full history. You know exactly what they purchased, who they took to, if they have a shopping cart on Shopify, and then you serve them better.
Got it. So you mentioned a few names there. Let's expand on that. So for the modern company, what should the CX or sales stack look like, both from a funnel perspective and also maybe recommended vendors if you feel like making your friends some money today?
Okay, so I'm going to start like level one, very simple, no on-prem, right? Cloud, always cloud. Sounds stupid, but you'd be amazed. We're amazed by the hundreds of customers who try Aircall, come to Aircall every month, coming from on-prem solutions, like they have physical tools. And they realize those tools don't work, right? Because teams are everywhere, because they're not agile. So first one, cloud. Second step is integrating all those tools, really connecting all the data. And now you have two ways to do it. One way is you buy the full suite of product from, let's say, HubSpot. HubSpot is a great marketing tool, right? They created inbound marketing, then they expand into CRM, they expand into the customer service area. You can do everything with HubSpot. At least you make sure that all the data about the customers is connected. Or you can use a suite of integrations, right? So typically you will have whatever, Zendesk, Shopify, Aircall, Segment, Slack, whatever. And all that connected in a meaningful ways. And so you choose the best of breed, right? Yep. So a modern stack you have to choose. You can choose one solution. It's simpler, but it's typically less rich, or you can go best of breed. And we typically fall into that category, providing the best phone software that completes, a specific CRM, a specific chat, etc.
Got it. You mentioned on-prem briefly there. So on-premise solutions can make people feel more secure sometimes, especially when it comes to data privacy. Is that still a pushback or a consideration in the market?
Not so much, and especially not in the past 2 years.
Okay.
I mean, the mindsets have changed radically, right? Okay. And all the cloud providers have made tremendous efforts, and we're really very impacted this with GDPR, privacy, multi-region localization of data, giving full control to our customers on how do we handle the data, where are they located. So I think this is a vanishing concern, okay. And especially in SMB, I'm typically more active in SMB. You still have large enterprise who want to control that and can afford it, yep. But I think it's progressively disappearing.
And you mentioned the last 2 years, and you briefly mentioned COVID, so let's talk about that. What did this world look like of customer support pre-COVID versus post-COVID? How have the vectors changed, the vendors changed, the buying behavior, and of course, how customers are ultimately served?
Yeah. But I guess in this room, everybody started buying more online, I guess. Yeah. Right? Everybody was kind of buying online. And then you start buying more products online, and you're less reluctant to buy even expensive products or risky products, in a sense, that you haven't tried in person. So The whole customer relationship, this interface between brands and consumer is changing, right? It used to be the store. You go to a store and that's where you have all the experience, right? This is changing towards stores being experience moments. You'll go there, kind of the Apple store concept. You'll see the product and you'll just get an experience. You'll get the brand, you touch the brand, but then you buy somewhere else and you do the support on different channels. And so that means that all these brands, they have to redesign the customer experience. It's not only going to be about the store is going to go more premium. It's going to be about how do I provide to the customer multiple channels that are adapted. An easy chat channel for small questions, a rich voice channel to get more interactive, or if it's an urgent matter. And how do I organize that and collect all this data? So this has changed a lot, right? And that's why you look at what Facebook and Amazon are doing. They're rushing to be this interface between brands and consumers, right? They want to buy the softwares that connect the brands and the consumers because they want to be the next online store in a sense, right? So this is a big trend. Now, the second trend is about hybrid work, right? All the companies, and a lot of them turn to us saying, okay, half of my team is now working from home. How do I monitor the quality of service we're giving? Before you were sitting here, I can hear how you talk to the customer. I can really physically tell you, hey, come on, Vinny, come on, you missed it. Now I can't. You're at home. How do I control that? So you need to set up all the monitoring, all the analytics, all the insights. And this you can do on-prem, by the way. That's where you turn to a software like Aircall or other softwares that give you a lot of visibility on, okay, what's happening now, what has been happening, how do I train, coach my agents wherever they are. So there's two factors, consumer side and as well on the team side, the support team side.
Fascinating. So let's keep looking into the future. It's not a secret that when I go to resolve a customer issue, a company is first asking me to look at their frequently asked questions. Then they're pushing me to a chatbot. Then maybe I get to chat with a human. And then if I find the phone number of the CEO, someone will hop on the phone with me. So companies are pushing and pushing and pushing to actually have more touch points, but perhaps lower cost touch points. In 10 years, how does this evolve?
Yes, that's interesting. And the fact is, we're in a business as Aircall that is getting cannibalized by messaging. That's clear, right? Myself, I really enjoy having messaging. Now, what we see in our customers is a much stronger polarization. And if you look at 5, 10 years out, it's going to be the same. So you won't want to talk to someone to solve a simple problem that can be solved via a bot, via a chat, or even an email or a FAQ. Right? And this we do a lot, and fine, it solves the problem. Now, as well, customers, they want to get a better experience from the brands. And did you get any memorable moment with the chatbot? I don't think so.
Probably not.
No, it's hard, right? You do get memorable moments when you talk to a human and you have a complex problem and you say, okay, I need this, whatever, right? I set that up for my wife and it's actually not arrived. How can you, yes, I can do something for you. I can. And you're like, yes, thanks. And so voice, this live interaction gives you that possibility. Now, what will evolve, what's happening even already now and what will evolve is you really want to have a clear different strategy, distinct strategies. And so your voice interactions will be probably less in quantity, but they have to be much more in quality, which means you really want to get advice. When we look at our customers, the best performing customers are the ones who invest a lot in two things. One, technology, so they get all the data right. They're able to get the full 360 view of the customers. And two, training. They train the teams, the support teams, so that they're not here to read FAQs. Customers can do that. They're here to be consultative, to be proactive, and that's where you perform best, and especially on voice. You won't get that as well on a bot or AI or chat.
Now, one thing that we didn't touch on, what about voice powered by robots, right? Powered by AI?
Yeah, this is what we believe in that at Aircall, right? So we believe in human-to-human in conversations, like the one we're having now. We want that to continue, but we want to enrich the conversation. So what we're typically doing in our own products and for our own customers is, get proactive, get a bot to proactively guide me and say, hey, it seems like Vinny has this and this kind of problem. You could just find a sharper answer by telling him this, or try this. And so we see bots more as enablers of a better customer service than just replacing entirely the human touch, right?
Yep, that makes sense. Customer support is obviously seen traditionally as a cost center, and sales is naturally seen as a revenue center. But those two are overlapping, especially for more consumer companies that are hoping to have touch points with their customers to retain them and to sell them more product, obviously. How do you position as a company when you think about not being a cost center, but instead being a revenue driver? And how does that relate to ultimately how you think about, pricing your service, but also how your end customers price their service while offering support?
I think that's interesting. I'll tell you, it's a funny, timely story I had last week. So with HP, right? So I just moved, and so my HP printer can't work. The only way, because it's not in the same region, same country. So you have to call the HP call center.
I didn't know that HP printers have ever worked.
Yeah, well, mine worked for my needs. Fair point. And so I get in touch with them. I call them, okay? And just give me the code I can put in my computer. First thing, I had to call 3 times. They transfer me, cut, whatever, painful. And every time I had to repeat my first name, last name, passport number, and the serial number of my printer, which is a very, very long number that I obviously don't have with me. So that was very painful. And that's about connecting the dots and saying, gosh, please, why don't you know that I just called 6 hours before, right? And finally, I got my problem solved. But they had a huge opportunity to sell me something. They have a product called Instant Ink, which is, as you update your printer, they can just sell you instantly ink cartridge that you get delivered every time you need it. And they didn't do that. And that's where there's a missing link. So I don't know what software they're using or what cloud phone system, whatever they're using, but it's obviously, there's a missing link, right? Because I would have paid for that, and I might actually pay for it, but why don't you had a unique opportunity? You talked to me about an hour. So the more and more support calls, interactions with customers are an opportunity to cross-sell, and actually we see our customers having not so much support and sales disconnected, but actually you have support and experienced support agents are able to initiate the sales and drive the caller, the customer, towards the salesperson. And so there's a lot more communications, and it's very important that you have tools that are integrated and talk to each other, right? Too often, sales and support are 2 different teams, and so support is seen as a cost center, and sales are the only responsible for the growth. Well, more and more, if you just connect the data, and you connect the softwares, then you can have the customer flow saying, hey, solve your HP now. Do you want to subscribe to Instant Ink? Let me pass you to someone. With all the information, oh, okay, you're based here in Europe, cool, da-da-da. So there's actually more and more opportunities, thanks to technology, to transform support from a cost center to a profit center or a revenue center.
Yeah, that's fascinating. Some customers are impatient, let's say, but they're actually high spenders. They're high LTV customers. They are the, Uber Diamond, the whatever loyalty group you want to pick. And traditionally speaking, this has been solved in a clunky way, addressing these customers' needs. They create a separate team, right? A separate phone number. They have to staff that team and train that team, et cetera. But you just outlined a future where that could potentially be done dynamically. Certain customers might actually buy more every time they get on the phone, whereas other customers just want to complain and they have no interest in buying more. When we think about how pricing and packaging evolves over time, we actually look back in time. So for example, with a consumer subscription company, something on a mobile app on your phone, when we think about how do we expand LTV, cross-sell potential, increase retention, we actually look back in time and we look at cable companies. Okay, how did cable companies handle churn? How did they introduce pay-per-view, et cetera? When I look at a lot of older industries, I look at frankly, one of the most painful industries, the most low margin industries. I look at the airline industry, and I see premium airlines who have business class only, all your food is included, fantastic customer service for everyone who comes there. And then I see budget airlines, which serve a really important segment of the market. And anything you want, if you sneeze, it's $1. If you cough, it's $2, right? If you want a blanket, it's $5. You get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And I think that those are both great solutions. How does that apply to customer support, given the overlay that you just put out of, sometimes it's a cost center, but maybe it could be a revenue center?
Yeah, there's it's something we're seeing for our own needs and for our customers that, again, the market gets polarized. I think the whole world gets more and more polarized for the better or for the worse. And so some customers will look for the cheapest solution that fits their needs. Like, I want to fly there, or I want whatever. I want a phone number with a simple phone system. Okay. Some others will value at the other extreme really the customer experience more than anything. And we see more and more of our customers taking the more expensive plan, not so much for the features that we provide, but because they know if there's a problem, if they need to make changes, they will get solution engineer, professional services, immediate support, like platinum support. And the world is getting very uncertain, right? And I think many companies have had to adapt to fast-changing, like COVID conditions. And you open and you close and you reopen and you don't know your business is booming, finally not booming. And so a part of the market values the fact that when they're buying people and advice as much as they're buying a product or solution. And another part is buying just the solution, and that's it. And so there's more polarization. And I think as a company, if you can drive, the messaging you can have is very important. So you really want to articulate clear your messaging within your brand that you can find two things with me. You can find the low cost, but it does the job, that's pretty cool. Or you can find really the platinum thing that will help you solve the problems you will have in the future if you think you will have these kind of problems. And so working this messaging is very, very important for a company so that you don't get into the budget airline category, you try to have both, right? I think as a software company, specifically, you can do that. You said online, it's not asset intensive. You don't have to get new planes, no.
Yeah.
So, but all the working, the packaging, the messaging is becoming very important.
Interesting. I see a lot of testing happening at companies like Amazon or the airlines, any really large company. And Amazon now tells me, okay, if you're more patient, we'll give you something, right? Do you, just to put a point on what we were just discussing, do you see a future where you will give me a 10% off code if I don't pick up the phone and I instead only use chat?
Yeah. To my earlier example of HP,
Yeah.
to locate the phone number of HP,
Yeah.
took me about 20, 25 minutes. And I ate that, no, because this is my business. This is my blood. I'm living out of that.
Yeah.
And so, it's obvious. the cost is crazy, and it gets even crazier because the cost of a human doesn't scale. The cost of AI goes down all the time. And FAQ goes down all the time. So I think we may get to a system like this. I don't think it will be that direct. I don't think people are ready to pay or say, okay, for $2, I want to talk to a human. For $1, I want to talk to a bot. I think people will say, come on. But I think it will be embedded in the price of the product you're buying. So you're buying the Nike Plus or the Nike Normal.
Right.
Nike Normal, then you'll have to live with it. And Nike Plus, you will have access to more personalized service.
Right. So packaged and tiered, so that it doesn't feel so petty.
I see that more as package and tier, more than options that you pay or variable pricing.
Got it. And I think we're coming up on time, but maybe as one last question, for companies now making these decisions about how do I meet my customers, how do I turn touch points from cost centers into revenue centers, and how do I modernize my stack? Who's the person that they should be hiring to quarterback all of this, to integrate all of these companies? This is a real effort. Has this become a job? Is there now an expert who helps you scale these things and a person who you typically sell into? Or is it just generally the technology team?
Yeah, historically it's the technology team, and they can do part of the work. But what we see more and more is customer operations, customer ops. And that's a very interesting role. It's a mix of IT and data and some business knowledge as well. So it's everybody, it's a team that connects all the dots, connects all the data, and drives new processes. Say now the customer journey should change this way and this way. So if you want to look up customer operations job and roles, that's an interesting new trend we're seeing to harmonize and improve the customer experience.
Got it. Well, Ali, fascinating conversation. Strategically helpful, tactically helpful, and thought-provoking. So
thank you, Vinny.
Great speaking with
great.
you.
Yeah, likewise.
All right.
And we're on time.